I believe we're all on this earth for a reason. I had this belief when I was really young, but as I got older, I really lost sight of this belief and I got focused on other things. I got focused on making money. And in the beginning, it was a lot of fun. I lived a good life. I went to nice restaurants. I had a nice car. I was able to buy a nice house. But as I continued to live my life, not having a focus on my purpose and what I was on this earth to do, these things became less and less fun. And I started living a lifestyle, or I had been living a lifestyle for many, many years, that was having a very big impact on my health. So as this had a bigger impact on my health, as I climbed the corporate ladder, things got more and more stressful. I did more and more of the things that were hurting me to help manage this stress. And part of it was because I wasn't living in alignment with who I was. So the stress I was dealing with was having a much bigger impact had it not been stressed caused from something that I was aligned with. We're always going to have stress, but there are varying degrees of stress, and the way we manage stress has a very big impact on our life. The way I managed my stress was through drinking and taking other drugs. And I got to a point where I just couldn't wait to get through my week. My whole focus was on the weekend or a holiday where I got a 3-day weekend or going on my next vacation. And it was all about making it to that next point away from work where I could party for that couple days, go back to work, and do the cycle all over again. And as the years went on, this took a bigger and bigger impact on my health. And by the time I had the realization that I wasn't living in alignment with me and what was important and what I was on this earth to do, I lacked both the energy and the drive to make the change that I needed to make to get back on track. And eventually I hit my rock bottom through getting very sick with Lyme disease. And it wasn't the Lyme disease, actually. It was my lifestyle that allowed the Lyme disease to manifest. And then it was my treatment of Lyme disease by taking a whole bunch of antibiotics, taking a bunch of supplements, rather than fixing the things that were wrong. And at a very foundational level, the things that were wrong were all the things that were missing from my life that give life meaning, that give life purpose. And my marriage was also destroyed as a result of this because I wasn't really focused on my marriage. I was just focused on making it through that next week so I could release all that stress by partying on my weekends. So I eventually hit my rock bottom, and through despair, I really made a commitment to figure out how to win the game of life. And I changed the rules. Instead of making it all about money, I knew that I had to make it about living my purpose. And my purpose is, even though I help people increase their energy, even though I teach people how to increase their dopamine, have a better brain, have better health, all these things, my purpose for my clients is to wake them up, because most of us are asleep. And once you wake up, it's impossible to go back to sleep. And that's when life can really start to happen for you. So increasing your energy, increasing your dopamine, these are tools that are going to help wake you up, that are going to help you get back on track. But it really starts with your self-image, which is your mental blueprint of how you see yourself. And along with your self-image, you have all of these subconscious programs that are really running the show when you're not conscious, when you're not in the moment. And when you've been living a certain lifestyle for a number of years, whether it's being sick, whether it's carrying a lot of excess weight, whether it's being a partier, drinking to manage your stress, these things become a part of your self-image. And anytime the shit hits the fan, anytime you have a lot of stress, these old programs kick in. They run the show. They throw you off track. So even though you have the best intentions, even though you want to make a change, even though you know what you need to do, it can be almost impossible to consistently make those changes until you work on your self-image. Until you change that, until you change your identity and create an identity of the person that you want to be. And that's the whole reason that my coaching program, the Optimal Health Protocol, starts off with what I call self-image design. And the way I came up with that is my healing journey had many stages, and I'll always be healing. We're always healing. There's never a there. You have a goal, you get there, but then you set a higher goal. So things, when you're doing things right, things are always growing. Things are always improving. There's always a next level. What happened with me is I was able to make very good progress with turning my Lyme disease around. And then what happened was I found out that my wife was having an affair. And this was really devastating to me. And I stopped doing all the things that I was doing that got me better, and I got sick again. And this wasn't the first time that this showed up in my life. There had been many times in my life where I had these big aspirations. I had these things I wanted to do. But as soon as a stressful event happened, I was thrown off track, and I went right back into my default programming, which was getting through the week, partying on the weekends, doing it all over again. So when I was going through this situation with my ex-wife, I was in this deep pit of despair. I finally got snapped out of it, and I was able to turn my health around. But with that came the realization that I had a lot of internal work to do. So it wasn't just my physical health, it was also my mental health, which had been neglected probably even longer than my physical health. Because even when I was sick, I was doing a lot of good things to help myself physically. For the most part, I ate really well. I ate organic food. I ate a lot of whole foods. I did eat some junk food, but it wasn't a whole lot. For the most part, I was very healthy. I worked out. I stayed in good shape. So even when I was sick, I still looked really good for the most part until I got put on antibiotics. Then I lost a whole bunch of weight and I looked terrible. But prior to that, I went a full decade of feeling like crap on the inside, but looking really good on the outside. So back to self-image. I had this realization that until I really worked and changed my self-image, my internal programming, I was going to get stuck in these continued cycles, making some progress, losing it, making progress, losing it. And I did a lot of work. I worked with different coaches. I did a lot of research, a lot of reading, and I've made a lot of progress. I still have a way to go. But by far, working on my self-image, changing my programming, identifying those bad programs that have been holding me back, and working on getting rid of them and overwriting them with new programs has by far had the best yields on my happiness, on my health, on my performance, on everything. So if you want to learn some more, check out below. There's a link. Let's schedule a time to talk and see if you're ready to be woken up, make some changes in your life, and start living your life.